I'm
Ready.
ready.
Ready. Tick tock tock walk.
Tick, 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 tock, 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 tock. We're not live yet, right? I
We are
need to
total.
quickly.
You are
I need to go
totally
to the
live.
bathroom. Oh, okay.
You can. We'll just talk trash about you while you're gone. Ha ha. AP has to pee. He's putting the P in AP. Um,
IP.
what are we talking about?
I have
Dawa.
no idea.
Something with
Oh, yeah.
Dawa.
No. Yeah. We're talking
Zakir
about.
Naik. Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik.
We're going to elect the next Zakir Naik. We're going to
Oh,
vote
we're
for the
electing
next
the next
Zakir.
Zakir Naik.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of things going on. We have Muhammad Hijab. He posted a video. We're going to take a look at that video where they're talking about their new Dawa center in, I forget where, Sweden or Norway or the Netherlands or some other place. And so they're asking the question, who's the next Zakir Naik going to be? So we're going to take a quick look at what Zakir Naik actually is. Maybe we'll try and figure out why that can be so popular in the Dawa world.
Absolutely.
And then we'll try and figure out why someone would want to be the next Zakir Naik and what the next Zakir Naik would look like.
I have to quickly address some slanderous comments in the chat here, which say that you are probably late because of me. I was here on time.
Yes, he was. I'll vouch for that. This is one of the rare times where it was on me getting these video clips ready.
Yeah, for once I was
Getting it.
actually on time. Yeah.
For once in my life, AP was on time, unlike every time before.
Torture.
Hey, yo, should we check out some video clips? So,
Oh yes, that's good.
So we just talked about Zakir Naik
Yes.
on your channel, your live stream. The great, the mighty Zakir Naik, the hero of Dawa. Does Zakir Naik sound as deceptive to you as he does to me?
Yes, absolutely.
There's this ongoing issue in the world of Islam where things sound one way to that person's audience, that person's standard fans, and sounds like a complete idiot to anyone else.
I said I pointed this out yesterday as well, but with Zakir Naik, I mean, when you listen to it, the guy sounds very slimy. If you actually know about the things that he talks about, and you listen to his claims of miracles and wonderful things in the Quran, and how there are absolutely no contradictions, and nothing and 0% of the Quran has been proven to be false, and so on. But also when he makes specific certain claims, you clearly know that it's wrong. You clearly know that it doesn't make sense. But to me, what I'm just wondering is, okay, this is an obvious lie. This is obviously false. But I'm really wondering if this guy is aware that it's a lie and he's deliberately lying to his audience, or is he somehow trying to tweak it in his own mind and just using it because it appeals to his ignorant audience and they don't want to question it further and he just runs with it. It's hard for me to actually understand what the motive is and what is going on in his head when he lies to his public.
And think about the situation with the modern Dawa guys. So you've got Ali Dawa, Muhammad Hijab. According to Ali Dawa, and we have no reason not to agree with him completely, Ali Dawa said that all the Dawa guys know that the scientific miracles argument has been debunked. He says that's why we don't make videos on that anymore. I mean, that's why the Dawa guys weren't making videos defending scientific miracles anymore. And then Ali Dawa comes out and says it. It's because it's been debunked. We know it's been debunked. And so why is Ali Dawa and Hamza Tsortsis, why are these the only ones saying it's been debunked? Well, they understand that there would be a backlash. And Ali Dawa basically got to a point where he's popular enough to realize he can take the hit on that one. So he goes ahead and does it. But think about the issue. Think about what's going on here. Hamza Tsortsis and Ali Dawa, they know that the argument was completely deceptive. Ali Dawa called it absolute nonsense. And yet the Dawa community is going, who's going to be the next Zakir Naik? And it's like, wait, you're the guy saying that you're acknowledging that this was all lies, that these lies were used to dupe gullible people into converting or into having confidence in the religion they already believe in. You guys are admitting that this has all been deception. And you're saying, and how can we find the next one of these guys? And this is amazing, man. You're
Who
like,
is
they're
going to
like
be the next
revealing,
Zakir?
they're revealing something about their religion to us this entire time. Uh,
You could put together when Muhammad Hijab talked to me. He mentioned a few things in the Quran that could be seen as a miracle because they are so accurate and so correct, and they can be understood as such scientifically amazing verses. And when I said to him, "How is this a miracle?" he said, "No, no, no. I'm not making a claim like Zakir Naik. I'm saying it could be considered a miracle. I'm not saying it is a miracle." So there in the discussion, he did that very same thing without going into much detail. He said he refers to Zakir Naik as popularly using scientific miracles in the Quran, alleged scientific miracles, while he himself does not do that. And now we have Ali Dawa, his friend, saying that scientific miracles is complete nonsense, and all the others, all the other Dawa people know this as well. And yet, after all of this, you still have Muhammad Hijab saying, "Who is going to be the next Zakir Naik?
mhm. Brent here
Who is
says,
going to be the next scammer?"
they want the next big scam artist.
Yeah, yeah,
Brent here says, why Zakir Naik retired without debating Christian Prince? Zakir Naik retired without debating a single experienced debater
yeah,
from any background that I'm aware of.
yeah.
He debated a Christian pastor at some point and a Christian doctor. Neither one of them had any debate experience. That's who he took on. And then after that, all the Christian debaters, the actual Christian debaters say, hey, we'd like to debate you. And plenty of atheists want to debate him, wouldn't go near any of them. But somehow he's the champion of doubt. But notice that's part of the deception, right? It's mislead your audience into thinking whatever. And in this case, it's mislead your audience into thinking that, because an average Muslim in India doesn't know the difference between William Campbell, that's a guy he debated. It's one of the like two guys that I can think of that he debated. They don't know the difference between like William Campbell and William Lane Craig. They don't know the difference.
Mhm.
Whereas any Christian would know the difference. Here we have a excellent point from Unit DW. David being a true Christian, taking the blame for us being late. And AP showing the deceptive heart of atheism and blaming David. You see that?
Absolutely,
You see
absolutely.
that?
That's a good point. That is a good
All
point.
right. So,
Um,
what's up?
I would say. Wait, what did you just say before you said that?
I was talking about
Oh yeah, no,
Zakir
no, no.
Naik.
I was just going to say that Zakir Naik, I think, started disappearing from the scene and going into the background more when I came out because he was scared of
That was
debating.
interesting timing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Hey, there's
I
a
appeared on the scene, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm done," and then he retreated.
hey, this dude with the harp symbol. He's making some great points here. He says not lying would be harmful to Islam. So if you're not lying about perfect preservation or scientific miracles or something, not lying would be harmful to Islam and harmful to his pockets. Almost all the Dawa guys, bar maybe Hamza Tzortzis and Sajid Lippam, are extreme narcissists. No, Daniel's not either. Yeah, Sajid's not. I don't know about Hamza, but doesn't come across as one. And Daniel Hakikachu isn't. But notice these guys aren't nearly as popular as the ones who are actually narcissists. The more narcissistic you become, the more attention you're going to want. So the more attention you want, the more addicted to attention you are, the more steps you're going to take to get that attention by any means necessary. And this is the situation they're in right now. All
Wait a
right,
minute,
so
you think Daniel Kikuchi is not narcissistic?
no, he's not.
Yeah, okay. I would say
No,
that he has some narcissistic behaviors and qualities, but I would rather consider him a sicko and slightly antisocial. Yeah.
if I had to put a label, like I'm not sure what it is. If I had to put a label, I would call him dissocial psychopath or dissocial sociopath.
Yeah.
Those are people. A dissocial psychopath is different from a psychopath in that he adapts to
Mhm.
the behaviors normally associated with a psychopath. And so for you could think it in terms of like someone who joins a gang who isn't violent, but since being violent in that gang is adaptive. It's valued. You will start becoming more and more violent until you behave exactly as someone who's just really, really violent. And or if you take someone who joins the mafia or something like that, after a period of 10 years, he might behave exactly as a psychopath does and yet doesn't. So someone like Daniel looks like he's someone who just, okay, whatever I believe, I'm going to cling to it no matter what. And he gets there and he looks through the Muslim sources and says, hey, why are we reinterpreting all this stuff? Let's just defend it. But now he's part of an ideology that is favoring, marrying children and slaughtering apostates and beating women. And so he just rolls with that.
The problem is he also gets some real pleasure, like visible pleasure, out of saying some really messed up things that people find extremely, extremely hurtful, because they are like they are threatening, and they target their sense of compassion. So I don't know if I think I imagine if I was in an academic task, if I was given a list of people with short descriptions, and I was shown the description of Daniel Kikuchu and how he publicly behaves, I would think, okay, this one shows signs of an antisocial personality
Yeah.
disorder.
And yeah, people are actually pointing out here, like some people are saying, I think that's a sociopath. No, there's a difference. See, some people don't distinguish between psychopaths and sociopaths. They just lump them all together. Those who do distinguish them, the main distinguishing factor is sociopaths are more hot-headed. You can get them to flip out, whereas psychopaths are more cold-blooded. They can take it and they'll plot to destroy you later. But one of the other distinguishing factors is it's thought, again, among people who draw a distinction between them, it's thought that people are born psychopaths and you can become a sociopath due to, various childhood traumas and so on. But even though you're not born as one. But when we talk about a dissocial psychopath or a dissocial sociopath, that's not someone who's born that way or who became that way through some sort of childhood trauma. That is someone who joined some sort of group when they got older, and that group prized behaviors and rewarded behaviors that are normally that the rest of the world would look at and go, this guy's a psychopath, right? In other words, you could take someone, again, go to a gang, join the mafia. Over time, you will start behaving like a psychopath. Even if you go to prison, you're around other inmates. You will start responding to things in a more aggressive manner over time. And then you end up being completely indistinguishable as far as your outward behavior is concerned from some of these problems. Anyway,
What about shaky booty?
narcissist, definitely narcissist.
Okay, all right.
And there are people here saying Zakir Naik is a psychopath. No, narcissist,
Nah,
clearly
yeah,
narcissist,
yeah.
indisputable narcissist. If you look at it, guys, they can have some overlapping qualities and so on. But generally, if it's a person, I want attention at any cost. Like, oh, I'll fake a hate crime against myself just to get more attention. I'll cling to this social media influencer who goes against everything and we actually believe it. There, you're dealing with narcissists. All right. So should we get into some of this?
Nah, it's too late. Let's just end the stream. Oh yeah, well, let's go.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just going to cut it off. All right, guys. So, the point we want to make here at the beginning is, again, what does Zakir Naik sound like to anyone who actually understands what he's talking about? Anyone who actually, when Zakir Naik is speaking about something, anyone who actually knows what he's talking about thinks he sounds like an idiot. It's only the people in the audience, which unfortunately is basically his entire Dawa audience. They don't know what he's talking about. They just hear him being really confident and they think, he's so knowledgeable. When again, to anyone who actually has any clue what he's talking about, he sounds like a clueless buffoon. So once, many years ago, Nabil made a video about this. We're going to check it out. We're going to check it out here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
There's one thing about Zakir Naik that makes people really think that he knows what he's talking about, and that's when he's able to share facts randomly and very quickly from the top of his head in such a manner that makes you think, wow, he is a really intelligent man. But a friend of mine sat down and went through a 5-minute talk of his once, and in that 5 minutes, he was able to make over 25 mistakes.
Charles Darwin went on an island by the name of Calotropis.
Look, you're already laughing, right? So notice it's an island,
Yeah.
and it's Calotropist. All right.
There is no such island as the Calotropist Islands anywhere. It was actually the Galapagos Islands that Darwin visited, where he found finches.
And there he found birds pecking at niches.
Jeez.
They're pecking at niches. I haven't seen this in a while, but this is awesome. Pecking at niches.
These finches do not peck at niches, as Naik says. They lived in separate ecological niches.
Depending upon the ecological niches they pecked, the beak kept on becoming long and short.
The differences Darwin observed between these finches were far more than simply beak length. They included differences in color, size, mating behavior, songs, and preferred food.
And that's not even how it works. He's saying that as they're pecking, their beak lengths are changing and so on. It's not. It's given various pressures in the ecosystem. Birds that have beak shapes that help them in certain situations as things change are going to adapt better, and they're going to be the ones that survive more, and they're going to pass on more offspring than others.
Observation was made in the same species, not in different species.
Darwin's observations of varying beaks were made on 14 different species of finches, not just one, as Dr. Naik claims. The beak length actually did not vary within the species.
Charles Darwin wrote a letter to his friend Thomas Thomson.
All of Darwin's published correspondence is printed and even available electronically online, and it contains no record of anyone named Thomas Thrompton.
Charles Darwin himself said that there were missing links. He didn't agree with it.
Darwin admitted that there were missing links, but that does not mean he disagreed with his own theory. He simply predicted where the missing links would be found.
Mark II Tech here says the ozone layers. That's a pretty good quick summary of what this sounds like. But notice the parallels, right?
Yeah.
Ali Dawa is even sloppier than Zakir Naik, right? So he's even sloppier. In other words, if you're Zakir Naik puts the deception level up to here to where it will fool a certain number of people. Ali Dawa dials it up even more to where, he doesn't think he has to have any idea of what he's talking about at all. He could just blurt stuff out, no matter how idiotic. But think about this. Why is that? Why is it that it got even worse to where Ali Dawa, the seven heavens, there's the seven ozone layers, but I was talking to this guy and him say that there's only 6, yeah? So then we goes on Google and it says there be 5, yo, so we don't even know who's right here, so the argument has been debunked, yeah? Right? So that's him. But notice, it's Zakir Naik actually led to the current crisis in Dawa, because Zakir Naik is the one who showed all these guys, you want attention? Are you a narcissist? Would you like way, way, way more attention? Then come to the Zakir Naik School of Dawa, where you'll be trained to spout complete nonsense, knowing that your audience will cheer for you no matter what you say.
Man, that's good. That is good.
Powerful stuff.
What I don't understand is, so Darwin sent a letter to someone named
Thomas Thrompton.
It was actually Thomas Thomson, I think. Thomas Thomson. How does he turn that into Thomas Thrompton?
It's Thrompton, man. Yeah, and notice these errors are of differing degrees. Sometimes it just looks like he has a general gist of the number of syllables in a name, and he just just rolls with the number of syllables or something. Kalipatros Island sounds a lot like Galapagos Island. You can see why he'd be why a person like this would be impressed with Mahmadim in Song of Solomon. Mahmadim, that kind of sounds like Muhammad. So you see, Kalipatros Island. I don't know what to do here, man. All right.
The reason is because that if you analyze the church was against science previously.
The church was never against science. Almost all the great European scientists of Galileo's time, including Galileo, were devout Christians. People like Newton, Copernicus, Kepler, Boyle, Linnaeus, Pascal were all committed believers in the Bible.
No atheists there.
And you know the incidents that they sentenced Galileo to death. they sentenced Galileo to death.
Okay, this is now you're getting really dumb. They sentenced Galileo to death. Let's go.
Galileo, a devout Catholic, was never sentenced to death. He was sentenced to life imprisonment on June 22nd, 1633, and then that sentence was commuted to house arrest. He died more than 8 years later on the evening of January 8th, 1642, of old age. Galileo believed that his theories fit with the Bible, and he wrote a book arguing this based on early interpretations of Christians like Augustine. Naik goes on to make the same false statement two more
Here's the
times.
thing.
What's up?
The issue about the Galileo thing is that this is a very popular myth, right? I mean, you've probably heard that before. People think, they killed Galileo, they sentenced him to death, they did this and that to him. People believe that stuff, and it's one thing for random people to think that, because that myth somehow spread. I don't know how it spread, but it's
we know exactly how it spread. It was from some two guys in the 1800s who just massacred history. It was the same guys. It was the same two guys, and I would normally know their names. Man, I'm fried today. The two guys who spread it were the same guys who spread the idea that people in the Middle Ages believed that the Earth was flat.
Oh, okay.
They're like two people in the entire Middle Ages that you can find who thought that the Earth was flat. So all this stuff that the sailors with Columbus were scared they would sail off the edge of the world and stuff. No, it was never an issue. They understood it. You did have people who had wrong ideas about how big the Earth was and so on, but they regarded it as a globe for a long, long time before that. With Galileo, so these guys actually spread it. And what's interesting is they started off. Oh, Draper's one of them. Draper. Anyone know the other name? It was Draper. The name's popping into my head. Hey, there you go. Andrew Dixon White. That is it. It's Andrew Dixon White and Draper. But they popularized the idea, and one of them was, I forget which one now. It's been a while since I studied this, but one of them was the guy. He was doing it as a polemic against Catholic immigration, right? He didn't like Catholics. And so he was saying that the Catholic Church was always against science and Protestants are okay. He even praised, matter of fact, this was definitely Draper, because he praised Islam. He was basically praising anything that the Catholic Church had ever been in conflict with, to say why it's really bad here. But yeah, they came up with the Galileo affair. And in short, the Galileo affair, Galileo had signed an agreement. He'd signed a contract earlier on about some of his teachings. And he said, okay, I won't teach this theory anymore. And he signed that. And then later on, he became more and more popular. And the Pope, who the guy who became the new Pope, was actually friends with him. And he went to him and said, hey, you mind if I publish a book on my views of the heavenly motions and so on? And the Pope said, totally fine. Just include in there somewhere that since we're dealing with some topics where we have limited information, just keep it in there that there could be another theory which accounts for things even better. And Galileo said, okay. And then he puts the Pope's words, which are basically quotations from the Pope, in the mouth of an idiot. There are three characters. One of them is a complete moron. His name is Simplicio, like simpleton, right? So, and he puts the Pope's words in his mouth. Then it comes out, it gets to the Pope that Galileo had signed an agreement that he wouldn't do this, and that he tried to get around his contract by going to the Pope. And he makes the Pope look like an idiot in the book. And the Inquisition was going to give them this little slap on the wrist and say, just say that you forgot that you had agreed not to teach this anymore. And so you made a mistake. And that's it. And just say that. And then the Pope in this case said, no, he's actually really ticked me off, hem this guy up. And so house arrest. And somehow this gets put as, this is the example of the interaction between science and religion. This is it. This is what science and religion does. It's like all these other things, him breaking a contract, him basically spitting in the Pope's face. And
somebody said, so why did he get in trouble for when they already knew the Earth is not flat? That wasn't the point of him getting in trouble.
No.
It was about the heliocentric.
And by the way, this was a situation where the Pope was actually totally correct, right? So back then it was thought, what is it? It's a geocentric model versus a heliocentric model. So the Earth is the center of the universe versus the sun is the center of the universe. And the Pope is saying, hey, yeah, you can present your other theory, but be sure to mention that some other theory may come along that may account for the evidence even better. He was absolutely correct because both those models are false. Those are both false. All the stars are not going around the sun or the Earth.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Zakir Naik, for also helping spread the myth. But notice that he's got to dial it up into us. That's why he was sentenced to death.
But let's only count it as one factual error.
So all the scientists, most of them, they support the theory because it went against the Bible, not because it was true.
Actually, most scientists did not support Darwin's theory for many years, and most of these same scientists revered the Bible. Basically, this account by Dr. Naik is a total fabrication.
All the sages, Lucy, there were 4 hominids.
Everything Dr. Naik says here is wrong. There is no such word as hominites. He must mean hominids.
Science tells us.
Yeah, like I said, some of these are like dumb pronunciations where he gets the gist of the word. Hey, we have House of Hikmah there. Again, it's like a 12-year-old. But he says Galileo was a jerk, like David. That's actually entirely correct. He was Galileo, like his best ability was just like savagely mocking things. So people thought of him as a total jerk. But if you crossed him, he was just brilliant and witty at making you look like an idiot. But notice that built him up a lot of enemies over the years who wanted to take him down when they saw the chance eventually.
Well, there are a lot of people in history that we respect a lot and revere a lot who were like that. Most importantly, I would say Socrates, right?
Yeah,
Voltaire
Socrates. Yeah. All these guys are great at just ripping people apart and making
Socrates was a complete. People hated the guy. And they thought he's a dirty fool, an idiot. He's so annoying. But he was just brilliant and arguing and putting people in their place. And Voltaire, he had his way with words and he was pretty harsh to people as well.
Yeah, Socrates. I mean, can you imagine like every person you respect as knowledgeable in society? Socrates shows up, makes him look like an idiot, and then people get so well. If you know so much, why don't you tell us what you think? And he says, I don't know anything. I just wanted to show that he doesn't. It's like annoying.
It's funny.
There's 4 hominids.
There are not a mere 4 hominids. There are at least 14.
First is Lucy, along with its guide, the Australopithecus.
This guy.
There is no such hominid as Dasnothologist. Lucy was an Australopithecus afarensis.
Wow.
Which died about 3.5 million years, the Ice Age.
The Ice Age was not 3 1/3 million years ago. It was between 1.6 million years and 10,000 years ago.
Then next came the Homo sapiens. We died about 500,000 years ago.
He just said Homo sapiens.
Homo
he just
sapiens.
said Homo sapiens, which is what we are. We're Homo sapiens. Now, think about this. I'm a medical doctor. Wait. Some of the stuff, I'm like, Calotropis Island. Okay, you should know that it's islands. You should know. Okay, maybe he heard it in his own. Maybe he heard it in Urdu and they pronounce it different. You're trying to justify it, but then it's like, okay, you're a medical doctor and you don't know that we're Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens died out.
Homo sapiens died out 500,000 years ago. What are we?
I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing for some regular person, or I don't know, even for a public speaker to make some of these mistakes when it comes to the pronunciation, or when it comes to these facts. You could say maybe he misspoke. I don't know, whatever it is. But for a guy who is like, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a scientist, I know what I'm talking about, I would tell you now. And then he cannot pronounce these things. He says completely wrong words that have nothing to do with each other, and then says that Homo sapiens died 500,000 years ago. It's just wild.
And look at his audience here. How many people in this audience are thinking, no, again, anyone who, a lot of this stuff, most people don't know. Some of this should be fairly common knowledge, like we're Homo sapiens. That should be fairly common knowledge. But in this audience, in his crowd of Muslims audience, how many of them are thinking, wow, what an idiot this guy is. Everything he's saying is completely false. Like he cannot utter a sentence without getting something wrong, without making an obvious factual blunder. How many are thinking that? Zero.
I will bet that the audience clapped and was very happy about this.
Yeah, they're thinking, "Oh my goodness, how can one man know about the Kalipatros Islands and the death sentence of Galileo and the birds pecking at the niches?" And everyone who knows what he's talking about is going, are you for real? Is this like a parody or something like that? Welcome to Dawa, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dawa.
Sapiens did not die out 500,000 years ago. You and I, and even Zakir Naik, are Homo sapiens.
And even Zakir.
Then came the Neanderthal man.
According to evolutionary theory, Neanderthal man was...
Wow, man.
Wait, so Homo sapiens died out, and then came the Neanderthals. Homo sapiens died out, then came
How
the
does that
Neanderthals.
work?
So we descended from Neanderthals? Well.
On the direct line to modern man, but an Ice Age offshoot.
The Neanderthal man. We died 100 to 40,000 years ago.
Neanderthal man went extinct 30,000 years ago, not 100 to 40,000 years ago.
Then came the fourth stage, the Cro-Magnon.
Cro-Magnon man is the same thing as Homo sapiens, which Naik had mentioned as a different earlier species.
There is no link at all between these stages.
Actually, evolutionary biologists have found many examples of what they claim to be links between these stages. For example, Homo habilis,
That's not the
Homo
missing link.
ergaster, and Homo heidelbergensis.
If you know of Sir Albert Georgi, who got the Nobel Prize for inventing the vitamin C.
Gergi didn't invent
Inventing?
vitamin C.
He invented vitamin C.
He invented vitamin C. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there was no vitamin C. And then Jordy came along and
Wow. Thank you, Jordy. Thank you, man.
he said, "Hey, let's invent vitamin C and inject it into oranges, and that way people will have vitamin C and not get scurvy all the time."
Wow. Thank you, man. Wow. What a great man. He thought of this all by himself. Wow.
Powerful. Yeah. So again, he says certain things where it's like, okay, he's massacring this name, but again, maybe he learned this in a different language and so on. He's trying to transliterate himself on the fly. But the other things, he doesn't know what Homo sapiens are. He thinks this guy invented vitamin C. It's like, you're a doctor. I don't put it this way. I don't believe him. If he lied about everything else, I got to see those credentials, ladies and gentlemen.
Got the Nobel Prize.
That one video where he goes, "There's a scientific
And there's a scientific thing.
ding."
There's a scientific thing.
Yeah, and
You eat
he
pig,
stops
you
for a
behave
second.
like pig. You eat pig, you behave like pig.
He does the very same thing here. He stops, he thinks of the word to say, and then he says a completely weird word. He, instead of discovering, he says inventing, and you can't invent vitamin C.
Oh boy. And again, it doesn't matter. Bren says he invented oranges. And then he invented the orange.
For inventing the vitamin C.
Gergi didn't invent vitamin C, he discovered it. Vitamin C is a naturally occurring substance that doesn't need to be invented.
He wrote a book, The Crazy Ape and Man, against Darwin's theory.
Albert said Gergi's book was not called The Crazy Ape and Man, but simply The Crazy Ape, and it was not a refutation of evolution, but a sociological commentary.
If you know about Rupert Albert, this person wrote a new theory of evolution against Darwin's theory.
Who is Rupert Albert? I can find no trace of anybody with that name.
From the apes. If you know of Sir Frank Salisbury, he was a biologist.
Naik quotes one unknown person after another. Who is Sir Frank Salisbury? Again, vigorous searching can find no trace of anybody with that name. But to give Naik the benefit of the doubt, this will not be counted as a factual error.
If you know about white meat, Sir White Meat.
White meat? Who is Sir White Meat? For the fourth time, no trace can be found of anybody.
Sounds like a porn star or something. What was Zakir Naik watching before this one? Before he stepped up on stage? Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go.
Sir White Meat.
Mark Hey, I'm Sir White Meat here to fix your cable. What the heck is wrong with this guy? You people got dirty minds out there. I couldn't help it though. That's a Mark McFlounder says, always respect the science of your elders. Matt, verse 39. notice this is
the Book of Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, it's like, why do we keep bringing this stuff up from Sneeko and stuff like that? There's a reason, guys. There's a reason. It's like sloppiness and getting everything wrong. Oh, that's like parallel to dissocial psychopathy, where this behavior is adaptive, right? So psychopathic behavior is adaptive. And so it becomes more and more common. Well, in the Dawa community, like just spouting things that are complete nonsense, but doing so with confidence, as if you act like you know what you're saying. That's what is prized and valued. And so that's why you see it, even from brand new popular converts like Sneeko. Matt, verse 39, powerful.
With this name.
At lower level, an amoeba, at lower species level, amoeba can change to paramecia.
This is insane.
He just said an amoeba can change to paramecia.
I don't understand. I hard for me to wrap my mind around. Like what collection of information does this guy actually have on his mind when he talks about these things and acts like he's an expert in them? Like, who is he referring to when he talks about Sir White Meat?
He just sounds like a guy who took a biology class when he was in high school or something like that, and just, loose memories of various fragments that I've heard. Let me just say it all like I know what I'm talking about.
I want to start a campaign on the search for Sir White Meat. Who is Sir White Meat? Who is he referring to? I'm really wondering.
John here says, David and AP, I saw Ali Dawa doing Dawa in real life today. It was so funny. He accosted these two teenage girls who looked horrified. That sounds like Ali Dawa.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds like Ali Dawa.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as paramecia. Perhaps he means paramecium, but the evolutionary change of an amoeba to a paramecium is far more dramatic biologically than the relatively small biological difference between apes and humans.
According to Francis Crick, who's authority in this field.
Francis Crick. Nabil's giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying he's referring to Francis Crick here. So one of the co-discoverers of DNA, well, the shape of DNA.
He said it is unimaginable.
There is no such person as Francis Crick. Naik probably means Francis Crick, the co-discoverer of DNA. Francis Crick believes fully in evolution.
This is
boy.
I'm trying to find a transcript or something, an article of if anyone put together all of the stuff that he says here,
Sir White
wrote
Meat?
them down and actually, yeah. Let me see. I think I found something. Sir Whitemeat, he wrote a book against Darwin's theory. He was also a biologist. Appeal to authority. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who it is. Nobody knows who he's talking about. Wow.
So,
Wow, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a clip of Zakir Naik, and we tried to give you a glimpse there. That's Nabil. I don't know what Zakir Naik has. Nabil actually, I know for a fact, had an MD. So Nabil did not practice as a doctor because he got involved in other things, but he graduated with an MD. And so Nabil is listening to Zakir Naik, and Zakir Naik sounds like a complete buffoon to him. Guess what? If you listen to Zakir Naik talk about the crucifixion of Jesus or something like that, if you're a Muslim, you're listening to him. Wow, powerful, powerful stuff. If you're anyone else, if you're anyone who actually knows or has read any passage that he's discussing, he sounds like a complete, either like complete deceiver or someone who's just absolutely ignorant. And in this case, where he's talking about where he's talking about the Kalipatros Island and so on. Here, he just sounds completely ignorant, whereas in other cases, he sounds completely deceptive. It's just that the amazing part in all of this is we can spend decades demonstrating conclusively that this guy is a compulsive liar who will either lie when it's convenient or who will just blurt things out and he has no clue what he's talking about, because he understands that his audience will cheer for him no matter what, as long as he sounds, as long as he gives the vibe that he knows what he's talking about. That is all that matters in Dawah. This is what he sounds like to non-Muslims. And this is who becomes the absolute gold standard of all Dawah. This is the go-to guy. If you want to know Dawah, how to do Dawah, go to Zakir Naik. What are you laughing at, man? How are you not?
I'm still stuck on Sir Whitemeat.
Sir Whitemeat?
I'm looking at people. I'm looking at Google search results on Sir Whitemeat, and just finding people use it as a username, writing different things about it. And then I thought of creating a fictional Sir Whitemeat character for.
I am Sir Whitemeat. Everyone is making fun of Zakir Naik, but here I am. Make fun of me to my face, losers.
Sir Whitemeat. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, seriously, guys, if you people don't understand. Notice if you were doing this and you were criticizing Islam and you thought it was just completely okay to just make things up. It was going, yes, and the great archaeologist, Dr. Whitemeat, he pointed out that the Quran is completely flawed in every possible way. And you could just make things up like this. Like, why even try to study if your community is not going to hold you accountable for anything you say? What's the point? Like, what's the point of being right if your community doesn't care that you're wrong? You catch that? What's the point? This is the ongoing problem in Dawah. What is the point of being correct if your audience isn't even listening to what you're saying and all they're watching is your mannerisms and your confidence level? What's that mean? It means all you need to pay attention to as a Dawah guy are your mannerisms and your confidence level, because that is the only thing your community pays attention to.
Very well said. True
and
words.
So, hey, check this out. You ready for this?
Yes.
Even Muslims are. So we're talking about who's going to be the next Zakir Naik. And I would argue that there can't be a new Zakir Naik because the direction that they took. So Zakir Naik set the stage. Hey, you do not need to be correct. You do not need to speak. You do not need to have the slightest concern for truth or honesty or integrity or any of that stuff. Just keep running your mouth. Just keep yap, and that will be powerful to the audience. And then what happens? A bunch of new guys follow his example and they all start running their mouths. But you start getting narcissists, because it's the narcissists who look and say, wow, that's how I can get attention. I just have to do what Zakir Naik is doing. I just have to get up and start, look at me, I'm so great. Oh, look at me, I'm owning the kuffar. And that's all I need to do to become popular and get endless attention, which is all I care about in life. And then they end up with a ton of narcissists. And those narcissists, guess what? They're competing for attention. They're all competing for attention. And what do you get? You get Dawah wars, right? Check this out. We've been talking about the Dawah wars, and now Muslims are sharing this. Right? This is a Muslim saying it's Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, Brother Haji, Abdullah Andalusi on one side, and Sajid, Shamsi, Faris, and Imran on the other side. Actually putting it up in the Marvel Captain America Civil War movie. So you got Daniel there versus Sajid and so on. You got all the other guys. And so like they're noticing this. They're noticing, hey, we can't stop fighting. That's what happens when you get a bunch of narcissists in charge of your system of Dawah. That's what happens.
Here's the funny thing. When people point out, and they have been pointing this out for a very long time, that Muslims have the habit of fighting each other, and that there is a constant infighting going on that never stops, it never ends. And I'm sure you have seen this one cartoon, which is The Last Muslim Alive. And it's like some guy holding a sword with his hand and a sword with his feet and fighting himself, basically. And these guys are just completely confirming that stereotype, right? So there's this constant fighting going on, even among the Dawa guys, and a new fight constantly breaks out. We talk about it, and they say, "Oh, no, 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 this is just temporary. It will be resolved, and the fighting will be resolved. This is just one thing." And then a new fight breaks out, and then they go harder against each other. It never stops.
Yeah, and I mean, some of them are actually brutal. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't watched them all. I saw part of a Shamsi video where I think Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa were accusing him of siding with LGBTQ against Muslims or something like this, and then so he responds to them and calls them liars. And then that dude Ferris, that he's from UAE, he posts
Yeah.
a video. He says that this new generation of guys, Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa, he said they're causing fitna, division, chaos, everything else in the Muslim community. And it's like, wait, weren't we saying that like 4 years ago? It's like, hey, are you guys, are these the guys you're picking? Do you know what this inevitably leads to? Do you know what this inevitably leads to 4 or 5 years down the road? And here we see it all around us.
What's interesting is the current fight that is happening, so between Daniel Hikachu and Sajid Lipham.
That's
and
another
then,
one. You can't even keep track of all these Dawa wars.
and Faris Al-Hamadi and all the others. What is happening here is that this is currently a fight that is among traditionalist Salafis who are different, brands of Salafis or traditionalists, because Daniel Hikikechu, for example, accuses the other ones like Sajid Lipham and Faris and all the others of being Madkhalis, which are a branch of Salafi Muslims who are called quietist, because they abstain from criticizing Muslim rulers, and they have this loyalist attitude of like, be quiet, don't publicly call out Muslim authorities, don't publicly call out and challenge Muslim rulers, obey them no matter what they do, unless they explicitly go against Islam, only focus on preaching. Whereas Daniel Kikachu and even now Muhammad Hijab and the others have this anti-loyalist point of view, where they say, no, we're not going to respect these authorities. We're going to stand with the truth and denounce them when possible. And that is a huge point of contention, because those loyalists like Faris and even Sajid Lipham, they people from their side can make this ruling that people like Daniel Hikikechu, despite being much more fundamentalist, are rebellious and cause fitna, cause infighting, and cause chaos by criticizing established authorities, which is why they should be punished. Uh, whereas people who go the way of Daniel Hikikechu often find themselves siding with people who turn into jihadists and take up their guns because they think we are not in charge, those oppressors are in charge. It is now up to us to establish the truth by fighting and bringing true Islam back and revive it. And those people turn into the kind of stuff that Al Qaeda and ISIS and even the Taliban, who are not Salafis, what they turned into. So this is currently a fight between the traditionalists, the revivalists who brought Islam supposedly back. It's not even among Sunnis or Shiites or traditionalists and modernists or anything. This is currently traditionalists fighting each other while also denouncing all the others. This is so funny.
And it's kind of a rough situation. I did want to, well, yeah, I guess I should point out there that we've been refuted on the Dr. Whitemeat, the Sir Whitemeat problem, because there are apparently a bunch of Sir Whitemeats. So look, there's this guy who says, I'm here to save science to defeat David and AP. That is Sir Whitemeat. But look here, we have another Sir Whitemeat. So apparently this is a popular name, but this is a different Sir Whitemeat. Let's see if we have any more Sir Whitemeats, because there are plenty of them. Ah, look at this. Sir Whitemeat, another one. We've got
but which one of them actually wrote a book refuting evolution?
Yeah, which one of you is the real Sir? Will the real Sir
Whitemeat please
stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Allah praise for Muhammad, but praise to me. It's Sir Whitemeat. Now we know. Now we know who Allah prays to. Finally,
so many Sir Whitemeats in the comment. That's fine.
Yeah, well, guys, we got to give credit where credit is due. We've been refuted. Little side note before we get to our next video. So we got one more video clip we're going to go through, and it's Mohammed Hijab talking about the new Dawah Center and how they're looking for the next Zakir Naik, which is what? Next complete compulsive liar to deceive for you. We'll go into a little more detail, but I really don't think you can ever have a Zakir Naik again. I don't believe you can have one again. Not because Zakir Naik is so great, just the world has changed. You don't get the atmosphere of ignorance that Zakir Naik was in. We have a super chat question for AP. AP, when you were Muslim, did you agree with the death penalty for apostates? What are good ways to de-radicalize Islamists? Thank you both. That's completely off topic, so condense your answer.
Thank you for the question. To be very honest, when I was a Muslim myself, I didn't have an actual opinion on the death penalty for apostates. I did not specifically think about it, but I was in favor of the death penalty for blasphemy and death penalty for homosexuality and adultery and things like that. So if you came back to me at that time and asked me about it, I would probably have said, yeah, no, I'm for it, because that's what the Prophet said.
Powerful.
And yeah, there are different ways to de-radicalize. Depends on person. You can possibly make a concise thing of that, I would say right now. Yeah.
There you have it, John. Now we're going to look at Mohammed
Which
Hijab.
John is that? Which John is it? Is it John the Presbyter? Or
is it John the Presbyter? Or is it John the son of Zebedee? Or is it John the Apostle? The Christians, them don't even know, yeah? Because that's how stupid it be. And all his fans, oh, so brilliant, the Christians don't know. This is amazing stuff, man. All right, so let's take a look at the next, searching for the next Zakir Naik, ladies and gentlemen, and let's see how things are going in the Dawah world here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing?
Okay,
there have been many legendary figures that have really established themselves and left a mark in the contemporary Dawah field. Of course, Ahmad Didat is one of them, and Zakir Naik is another.
Notice the people who left the biggest imprints on the Dawah community are the two biggest liars.
yeah, one copied the other basically. They just
Yeah, I made a video once where I went back and forth between them and showed that Zakir Naik is like word for word copying what Ahmed Didat said. He just memorized it.
He was his mentor or something.
Yeah. He went down there to study. Yeah. That was his disciple. And there are pictures of him. There are pictures of them together with Zakir Naik like taking notes and stuff on how to do it. But yeah, that's a guy who memorized things. And then you could see it's not as common now, but the new brand of da'is who are coming around like 2008, 2009, 2010, and so on, they were just parroting Zakir Naik.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually those arguments were exposed so thoroughly that they started moving on to other things. But this is why I find this clip interesting. It's like, who's going to be the next Zakir Naik? And they're talking about like the future of Dawah, and hey, they're going to they're building this Dawah center and so on. They're going to put out all this content. And it's like, are you guys seriously still taking Zakir Naik as your model? And so what are you guys doing in there? Are you just, hey, let's come up with new lies. Let's make this entire system a lie generating machine, because that's what we saw from our hero, Zakir Naik.
But are we going to continually see people like that being developed? Well, we're here in Norway with our good old friend Fahad Qureshi. How are you?
Notice he said people like that being developed. So he's talking about a new generation of Zakir Naiks and Ahmed Didat.
He said developed. So.
That's what I said.
Developed, not developed. So, yeah.
Okay. Tell us, what is this place, man? Tell us, is this a place where you're going to be creating the next generation of du'at?
The next generation of compulsive liars.
What is this place, man?
What is it? Hey, I was just walking by and I looked through the window and was like, hey, what is this place? Is this where they're going to be making the next generation of Zakir Naik and Ahmed Didat? There should be a list. The 27 rules of lying with confidence.
Yeah.
The main aim of this center, this masjid in Norway that we're establishing, is to produce du'at who will inshallah take the level of da'wah to the next level. Wow.
Now, what does that mean? Does that mean spout lies with even more confidence? Or does it mean come up with lies that are harder to spot? Like, what is it if lying is the basis of your entire system? What does it mean? Does it mean making lies that are harder to catch? So are you going to improve? Or is it just saying it with more confidence because that's all the audience is watching? Because again, notice, I mean, Ali Dawa has 1 million followers and he's spouting stuff that's significantly dumber than what we've seen from Zakir Naik.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what they mean, man. Like, how do we improve on our grift?
This is we have to ask what kind of product description they have for this new product of Dawa people that they are developing in this factory. As of now, we do not know.
Victor says, let's take deception to the next level, and that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So inshallah ta'ala, yani, we want to see not 1 but 10, 30, 40, 50, 60 Zakir Naiks, Ahmadidas, Muhammad Hijabs. Inshallah ta'ala. So the facility...
They want more Muhammad Hijabs. So more golden showers. More, what are the other things he said? These Islamophobic women deep down, they want to be raped by real men who come and conquer them. So we've got that.
This is what I appreciate about Sajid Lipham, who, in reaction to these guys, sits down and goes, no, please don't do this. Please don't. Brothers and sisters, don't listen to these guys. And dear non-Muslim listeners, please. This is not what Islam is. Islam should not be represented like this.
Check it out. We got Dame Piglet here. Says, I think it means molest younger girls.
Oh yeah, younger.
Improving dawah. How do you improve dawah? This stuff is sick, man. This
the
is
next
sick.
level of dawah. Go for the younger girls. Wow.
And seriously, I mean,
yes.
When we think about Sajid, I don't have any ill feelings towards Sajid. I understand the situation he's in and what this is like. You know, for someone to be looking at the Dawah scene and seeing, wait a minute, we've got some narcissists who are becoming increasingly popular, and the people who are calm and actually trying to just go through what our sources say and respond as best as we can and so on, no one pays attention to us. It's the guys who thump their chest and, ha-ha, I'm owning everybody, I'm owning the kuffar, ha-ha. And he's looking at that and going, wait, but these are the guys who are narcissists. And these are the guys who are just focused on getting attention by any means necessary. And they're the ones becoming most popular. And so this is like going to destroy our religion. And so the rough situation that people like Sajid are in right now is, do we have it out with these guys right now? If so, then as soon as you say, hey, these guys are wrong, look what they're doing, you get attacked for causing division in the ummah.
Yeah.
But you realize, wait a minute, if their popularity is exploding and ours isn't, are we gonna try and deal with these guys 5 years from now, when they've got 5 million subscribers? Are we gonna try and deal with them then? Because then it's even more difficult and will cause even more division. So it's like, do you want division now or do you want more division later? Do you want to destroy the ummah now? Do you want to split do you want the civil war now or do you want a worse civil war later? And so they try to do the best they can. And guys, it's just, you got a problem in the community there. You got a problem in your community that you should be training the community not to be. And by the way, to be fair, everyone's going through this right now. Everyone's going through this. Every group with every background is going through this to some extent. It just seems dialed up significantly in the Dawah community. In other words, everyone's going through a situation where you feel like there's all these different forces at work and they're threatening you. And so you want to join your group, but the tendency of a group is to rally around some champion. And so how do you do that? That's a natural tendency, but the people who will jump into that scenario and go, I'm the champion you're looking for, are quite frequently narcissists who want attention.
Yep.
And so what do you do about that?
Everyone goes through puberty.
Everyone goes through it, except Aisha.
area we're in right now, this will be the
What's wrong with you?
Jeez. Okay, nah, that's not what I
library,
said.
inshallah. We'll fill these shelves with books that the kids and the youth will, inshallah, come and read and gain knowledge about this deen,
It's really
We're going to line these, we're going to have shelves with books that kids can come read so we can completely indoctrinate them with complete nonsense and hope that they never, ever, ever develop the ability to go look up something about what we're saying, because then they'll be out of Islam.
Perfect. Alhamdulillah.
And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee once those shelves are up, they're going to have Maurice Bucay's book about how the Quran contains scientific miracles. Even though they all know it's been debunked, they know it still fools people, and they will still spread that nonsense. Watch.
beautiful. I mean, even if you just look at the red here, it's the presentationally excellent presentation. You know,
That's all that
and
matters.
You can imagine putting
That's all that matters. Notice that's all they think about. Oh, it's just does it look good? Does it look good? Fill that cabinet, fill that display case with complete nonsense and complete lies. As long as it looks good, and it's on this nice red fabric, that's all that matters. Because
What a weird thing to point out, by the way, I think. To just go there and be like, oh, look at this. Look here. Beautiful presentation here. This will be, yeah, look at this glass.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
manuscripts and coins or something that will really inspire those individuals, the students.
You better be careful of those manuscripts. They might spot the differences. There goes your dawah. You have some little kid. Hey, wait a minute. That word's not the same as that word. Shut up! Shut up! You got no faith. You got no real faith. Get out of here! Get out of here, you little shaitan! Don't get out of here with your doubts. You were never a real Muslim. How dare you point out the obvious?
In a classroom, it's a beautiful environment already. This is what your donations are doing, ladies and gentlemen, is it not?
Yes, and let me show you the other facilities as well. That we
Wow,
have.
so this is one place which is going to be used as a classroom. As you can see, beautifully well lit, excellent presentation. Let's take a look.
Let's go upstairs, inshallah.
Wow, there's a
By the way, where did he say this was?
Norway.
Norway. So notice this is the Dawah Center in Norway. They smell blood. They're running in to spread their Islam.
upstairs. Fantastic.
Definitely.
And this is
I
once
definitely want to also go and establish such a thing in Egypt, in Pakistan, in Saudi Arabia, in some of these places, for different religions, for atheism, for apostasy, and I'm pretty sure they will appreciate that as well. Yep.
This just in from Sir Whitemeat. Sir Whitemeat says, buy my book. Sir Whitemeat destroys D-Wood and AP. Guys, whatever you do not get that book. It will destroy your confidence in anything we say. We will be exposed by Sir Whitemeat.
Who is going to be the
This
next Sir Whitemeat? Go ahead.
complex with the stairs and up and down. All of this is the donations of the people.
Yes.
All right, so show me what's going on here.
So this is, mashallah, we just newly built all of this place. And
Wow, this is newly built with the money, the donations of the people.
yes, alhamdulillah.
Fantastic.
And it's still under construction, but this will be the studio. This
Wow.
is the studio where we will
That's where they're going to be cranking out the content, the videos, and so on. What do you think are the odds that there's going to be any even slight concern for getting your information accurate, given what has led up to the current state of Dawah?
Everything's going to be accurate, I would say.
Yeah, I would guess it's going to be lots of chest thumping and ha ha ha, and pretty much nothing factually accurate.
I think
we
it will
will,
be mostly accurate.
Powerful.
inshallah ta'ala, be producing all of the Islamic videos, the lectures, the podcasts, all of that, inshallah, will be produced here.
Amazing. And you got equipment. All these equipments are purchased as well with the donations of the people. So they're not only purchasing these things, they're investing in equipment for a Muslim organization. What a fantastic thing. Show us.
But by the way, this is, because you've got a situation where they're going around saying, hey, we've got this avalanche of apostasy. Your child's going to become an apostate. Your child's going to become an apostate. What are you going to do about your child becoming an apostate? Avalanche of apostasy. We're not going to be able to recover from this unless we do something right now. And then it's help us build these centers. And people actually fund them and they build their Dawah centers. But guys, what? Why does it never cross anyone's mind to stop lying? Like, why? Why is that not an issue? Why is it not? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
More.
Yes, Bismillah. Come with me, inshallah. This is just a meeting room.
Beautiful.
And
You've got a round table here. You have your meetings. You have your brainstorming sessions.
We're knights of the round table. We dance whenever we're able. Many times we're given rhymes that are quite unsingable.
Yes.
this room we're going into right now is the main office.
Main office.
This is where the research is happening. This is where we're producing knowledge.
This is the main research. I think it's appropriate now to introduce.
Wonder what a good name. What would be a good name for this office where they research how to lie to people? Anyone got any ideas? What would be a good nickname for their office, their research room, where all they're doing is figuring out what can we say that people don't know about yet?
I'm not sure yet, but it should be something that honors the name of Sir Whitemeat. So Sir Whitemeat.
The Sir Whitemeat Center for Islamic Scientific Learning.
Oh.
All right.
To the shuyukh that are here, mashallah, they did a fantastic job, and I spent some hours, many hours with them, intrigued and fascinated.
I'm fascinated
by and stimulated by their conversation. We'll start with Sheikh Muhammad Zubair here, who's being very modest, trying to pretend to do some work. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
Modest? That's not exactly a prized characteristic from the Dawah community.
Yeah.
You gotta thump your chest right now, dude, and be like, I will school the kuffar, and then
how dare you call me modest?
He get an instant 100,000 new followers overnight.
And you okay? You okay? Yeah. And you've been with we've Fahad for many years. How do you feel the role is for you?
Wallahi, I cannot describe the feelings. This is the work we're doing. Alhamdulillah, is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm very, very blessed to be part of this. And I've been here from the very beginning.
Yes, you have, and I remember you from many years ago on the peace conferences. And I'll tell you what, we're blessed to have you as well. And I'll tell you who else we're blessed to have. This man here has spent more than 10 years in Saudi Arabia and Egypt combining, collecting like a collector, postgraduate after postgraduate, in Islamic studies, spending years and years doing research. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you doing? Okay. Sheikh Zishan.
So, looks like they're assembling an awesome crew here.
I find this whole thing so pathetic, the whole background music, this whole, trying to gain more sympathy through the background music in order to get more of the donations. I don't know. It's funny.
Well, I think it's amazing that, okay, guys, one of the reasons you have a crisis right now, where you're running around with your avalanche of apostasy, is that you built people's confidence upon a series of lies. Because thanks to people like Zakir Naik, those lies eventually get exposed, and occasionally, you can even get the Dawah guys to admit that it was all a lie. But they're still taking this as their model. So here's what I find interesting. It's like, the reason they're having the problems right now is because they have a system in place that has been successful for them in terms of getting people to convert, but which ultimately leads to destruction because people, if those lies are eventually exposed, and it starts shaking people's confidence, and then it starts shaking a ton of people's confidence, and then you get a bunch of ex-Muslims, some of whom are ticked off and enraged that you duped them with lies. And so they become ex-Muslims and they start blasting away at the foundations of the religion, and then you don't know what to do. And yet, but notice when that happens, when you start getting this avalanche of apostasy, then the community starts becoming very nervous because people like Hijab are saying, your child is going to become an apostate. You have to support us or your child is going to become an apostate. And people say, okay, we have to help the da'is. We have to help them. They're the only ones that can rescue us. Like, wait a minute, they were the main culprits in causing the problem. They were the main culprits in causing the problem. And now you're turning to them. You're turning to the people who are destroying Islam from within as your only hope for saving the future. What are these guys going to do? They're going to destroy, they're going to accelerate it. They're going to go out there, spread a bunch of nonsense, win a bunch of very shallow converts who eventually find out that they've been lied to. They're going to leave Islam. You get even more ex-Muslims, more people complaining about Islam. The avalanche accelerates. It's like people who, you're stuck in a boat in the ocean, and you go a couple days without water, and then you're so thirsty you start drinking salt water, and that quenches my thirst as I'm drinking it. Yeah, but it makes your thirst worse. That's the situation these guys are in. They're in a situation, they've taken a gulp of Dawa salt water, and it's making them more thirsty. And so who are they turning to? You get so thirsty, now you're just chugging salt water.
Yep.
And you're destroying yourself, and you're not thinking clearly because you're in a state of desperation. That's what we're dealing with right now in the Dawa community. Let's go ahead.
Brother, tell us.
We are so happy for the Dawa going on. Notice the email address up there for you Muslims who are watching, and even some of you non-Muslims who might want to support the Dawa, knowing that will ultimately lead to the destruction of Dawa. You have the website up there, saveiman.com.
It's an interesting wordplay. Iman can be a name for a girl as well, or for a woman.
Yeah, we got to save
this
Iman.
whole thing. Save Iman, who is in Norway and who needs to be saved, and thereby save the faith.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to save the faith? Just take the faith somewhere else where it doesn't have to be saved. Why do you have to come to a place where the faith is not very strong in order to then just tell people to save the faith? Just get out. How about that? I mean, that's a very easy solution. Get out. Get out. Go to a place where your faith is safe, if that is what you want to call it. Right?
That is, my goodness. What's crazy is we can sit here and explain it to them, explain everything that's going on, and they're still just going to keep going back to their Dawa guys. Save us, Dawa guys. Save us. More civil war. More civil war.
Something about the research
More narcissism. We need more.
that you're doing, and you've got Shamil up here. Go ahead and tell us something about it.
Alhamdulillah, subhanAllah. I mean, research is something which is so extremely important for us to develop intellectually as an ummah, because if we just go with whatever is there, sometimes it might not be enough. We need to find solutions to problems. Because subhanAllah, the ummah is facing so many problems, so many
Everybody
challenges,
knows we are the
so
worst when
many
it comes to
things
research.
are happening out there that we need to find solutions for. And that's
So many problems out there. So many problems out there. You know what we need? We need more Andrew Tates, more Sneakos. We need more people with very shallow belief in Islam that we can point to because of their popularity and get access to their ignorant fans. That's what we need. That's what we're going to do here in this Dawah Center. It's the only way to save Islam from all the problems. We got a recommendation here. Name for the Dawah Center, the Islamic Fallacy Center.
That's good. That's nice.
Powerful
stuff.
Powerful. The IFC, Islamic Fallacy Center.
a part of the concept of ijtihad, isn't it? To begin with, to find solutions for the ummah.
Do you know, I've spoken to Sheikh Jishan, he wouldn't say this himself, but he's done some buhuth, some really interesting and deep research. Wallahi, I'm saying this, and I've been in the dawah for many years myself. It's cutting edge, and when it does come out, it will impact the entire Western Muslim hemisphere in a way that, honestly, anything else would have. And
he said the same thing about
Is he
something
even
that
serious?
I think he said the same thing about something that Hamza Torres was about to publish a long time ago, and nobody even cared about it. He keeps doing this whole thing.
No, I mean, seriously, I'm thinking, what could you possibly even mean? Like, give us an example of this cutting edge research. Because notice, it's this boy who cried wolf situation with Dawa. We've got our argument, perfect preservation. Okay, that turns out to be a lie. We've got our new argument, the scientific miracles. Okay, that turns out to be a lie. Like, every new cutting edge thing you come out with is a complete lie. And then you're saying, okay, well, all of our other stuff, yeah, that turned out to be lies, and we were exposed, and we eventually even had to admit that they were lies. But guys, guess what? We're working on our new thing. Okay. What are the odds that this is going to be based on accurate information and careful reasoning? Like, what are the odds? It's borderline zero. They could surprise me and come up with something awesome that I've never seen before. But I have to start thinking, okay, if you had something awesome, wouldn't you have mentioned it before? And so based on everything I know about the Dawa community, we're just, hey, let's get ready for more lies.
Yep.
You could even argue the whole Muslim world, and this is knowledge production. So it's subhanallah, you know the hadith.
Did you say knowledge production?
Yeah.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu we said already, one of the things is that everything ceases, is interrupted from the amal of the deeds of the child of Adam, except three things. We said sadaqah jariyah is one of them, but one of the other ones is ilmun naf'un yantafa'u bih. That is a beneficial knowledge which people benefit from. So imagine there's two things in the
beneficial
of the
knowledge
three in the hadith.
Benefit from? Ooh, wow. That's wow.
Powerful.
That you can actually take advantage of right now by just clicking a link. It's unbelievable. They're doing a knowledge production, cutting edge stuff with people that are not just qualified but overqualified on the matter. Come on. And
look at him. He had to toss it in.
Knowledge.
What is he doing with his face?
I say that of the three in the hadith that you can actually take advantage of right now by just clicking a link. It's unbelievable. They're doing a knowledge production, cutting edge stuff
get
with
rough,
people that are not just qualified but overqualified.
Overqualified. There you see it. You see the power we've got. We've got the power right here. We got the hikmah. We got the haq and the hikmah.
Allah, I say that it's time. It really is
haq and the hikmah.
No messing around. These opportunities cannot.
They don't have the haq and the hikmah.
You missed out on. Click the link below. It's an amazing opportunity. Do it now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Haq and the hikmah. And guys, we even put this up here, right here. For you Muslims who are watching and you want to see this powerful dawah, continue. That's www.saveiman.com. Iman is in danger. That little girl's probably being molested somewhere and she needs to be rescued. So saveiman.com. You can donate now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can, and your money will go to this center where they produce knowledge by people who are not just qualified, but you could say they're overqualified.
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 You see? We got the haq and the hikmah. The haq and the hikmah. No one else has the haq and the hikmah. Except for us. Isn't it crazy though? But I mean, notice you're looking at that. So you got all these different things going on. You've got them running around when they want people to support their dawah fundraising and so on. And they're going around. We've got the avalanche of apostasy, the tsunami of apostasy. 24% of Muslim youth are leaving Islam. Ali Dawah pointing out 100,000 Muslims are leaving Islam every year. But we pointed out before, that's just a statistic in the United States alone. If you take the community around the world, they point out that, what did they say? Between 5 and 10% of the population in Muslim countries, they believe are actually closet atheists who just they're not able to speak. You've got, what was it? 2/3 of mosques in Iran are now closed down because there's no people to attend anymore. So they run around, they're pointing out all of these issues, all of these problems. And then people do what? They're going to fund the dawah, but what are they actually funding? They're funding narcissists who are at war with other dawagandists. So it's like, now, so what that really is support the guys who are on Hijab's team to make him stronger so that when he's going against Shamsi and Sajid and whoever else he's at war with, now they're more powerful. So you're actually, by funding, pick a dawah guy, you are actually supporting a dawah guy who's at war with other dawah guys. But they're making it look like, Islam's going to take over the world with our powerful dawah. This is awesome stuff.
You know what's funny? This whole your reference of them shutting down mosques in Iran reminds me of to counter that whole narrative. Some Muslims, including the recent convert Sneeko, adopt this whole thing of like, in the West nobody goes to churches, and Sneeko made a tweet. I'm not sure if you've seen that. I think I forwarded that to you at one point. He made this tweet which said something along the lines of, I went to a mosque recently and it was completely packed. And then he said, oh yeah, that was Easter. He said, I went to a major church on Easter Sunday and I was the only person there. And I'm sitting there looking at this and thinking that's impossible. That is, everybody knows that is not true. That cannot be true. But the guy will sit there and make such an exaggeration to make a point for Muslims and to trash Christianity, saying that on Easter Sunday there was nobody in the church; he was the only person there. Wow,
Yeah,
wild stuff.
And you and I have talked about this before, but the goal of the Dawa community, largely due to the influence of Zakir Naik, but it goes back before Zakir Naik, because it was like this even in the 1960s and so on. Not sure how far this goes back, but the target audience for the da'is has always been people who know absolutely nothing. Like, who can we find who don't know enough to realize that they are being lied to, so that when we say Dr. Whitemeat says blah blah blah, they won't know any better. We're looking for people we can say anything we want. We can say anything we want to them, and they will not know that they're being lied to. That is the goal. That is the ongoing goal of Dawa. And for a while, people like Zakir Naik, who were they talking to? People like Ahmed Deedat, who were they talking to? They were talking to audiences that were completely ignorant about Islam. They didn't know what's in the Quran. They didn't know about anything that these guys are talking about, and allowed these guys to say whatever they want. And that was massively successful for a while, because you can get away with that for a while. Eventually, people start catching on, start exposing the lies, and the arguments become something to laugh at, something to mock and laugh at, and how bad they are. Mm-hmm. And then you get to these guys, the new generation, and they're saying, we need the next Zakir Naik. We need to raise the next generation of Ahmed Deedats and Zakir Naik. And it's like, you can't have that anymore. The Zakir Naik method only works when you have an atmosphere of complete ignorance, and you can say whatever you want. Now, wherever you talk, there's going to be people pointing out the lies, and doing so very rapidly. So what do? They try and look for large pockets of people who still don't know anything. This is why they try to go on, Jordan Peterson's show. It's why they're trying to get on Joe Rogan. It's why they're trying to get on Steven Crowder. It's why they wanted access to Andrew Tate and all these other guys. They want access to large groups of ignorant people so that they can spread the lies in an atmosphere where it might still work, where these arguments might still work, because people haven't been inoculated from them. They're also trying in different languages. We've seen about, an emphasis on Dawa in South and Central America now, because the responses to their main arguments aren't as widespread there. And so you still find tons and tons of people who haven't seen the Dawa lies exposed. And so they're still looking. What they're doing right now there in Norway is, how can we find every last remaining person who doesn't know that we're the biggest liars the world has ever seen, so that we can convert them to Islam. And the ultimate goal is, can we get enough people quickly enough before it's exposed, so that we can get so powerful that we can actually shut down criticism of our arguments, and then no one's even allowed to respond. That's the goal. So we're in a race. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good goal.
If you want to support the Dawa side and hijab side, go to www.saveiman.com, and you can support the Dawa there.
Powerful stuff.
All right, AP, those are my thoughts on the Dawa. You have any remaining thoughts on the Dawa? On the state of Dawa?
The state of Dawa. Dawa will never be better. Dawa will never change. Dawa will never get better. Dawa can only change for the worse. Stay away from Dawa.
Snoopy here says, Steven Crowder, really, Dave? Yes, they were. You've seen that, haven't you seen that? They were trying to get on Steven Crowder's show. They do this same thing where whenever someone says something critical about Islam, even if it's not the person's main focus or anything, then they'll hound that person of, if you're going to talk about something, then you should get one of our representatives on there to respond. And if you don't do that, then you're a horrible person. When is that the rule they live by? Do they say, any Muslim sheikh who says something about Christianity or atheism, you have to get a Christian or an atheist on there to give him an opportunity to respond? No, they just make up that rule because it's a way to dupe people. But yes, they've been harassing Steven Crowder, saying, hey, let's get Muhammad Hijab or one of our Dawa guys on there to respond to the things you've said about Islam. And the only goal there is let's get on there because there will be a lot of people watching who don't know much about Islam. And so that's the race that we're in right now. The Dawa guys going all in, racing towards their finish line of being able to completely shut down our ability to respond. Can they get there fast enough? Because if not, all they're doing is lying. Like Blitzkrieg style lying. Let's lie way faster than people can respond to our lies in an effort to shut down all criticism of our lies. Can we get there fast enough? That's what they're saying.
Plus, in addition to appealing to the large audience that these people might have, they're also trying to directly preach to the host or guest, whoever the public figure is. Like in Jordan Peterson's case, with Mohammed Hijab going there and going on his podcast and talking to Jordan Peterson, the entire purpose of it, as he clearly presented it, and as that guy, Jordan Peterson's friend, Jonathan Pajou, also pointed out, the entire purpose is just to convert him to Islam, to just in the end say, okay, are you now ready to convert to Islam? Have we given you enough arguments, enough reasons to convince you that Islam is actually true? Yes or no? And if they then refuse, if they then don't convert to Islam and don't say, I don't buy your Allah, then they're like, okay, we're done. Never forgive this guy. He's an ignorant Islamophobe, and so on. That's what they did with Jordan Peterson. Messed up.
That is correct. So anyway, we're bringing you up to the current state of Dawa. They understand that they're in an emergency situation. They can't give off the vibe that they're in a state of panic, but they will when it comes to donating to their new Dawa, their new dais and their new Dawa centers and so on. But again, I can't say this. I can't emphasize this enough. Their problems right now are their Dawa guys. Dawa is now populated almost entirely by narcissists who will do anything for attention. And you're saying, hey, let's make them more popular in order to stop the avalanche of apostasy. And I hate to break this to you, but that ain't going to stop the avalanche. It's only going to accelerate it. And feel free to prove me wrong. Keep going down this road, everyone, and see how things are looking a few years from now. See if things are better or worse.
There is, by the way, a video for such donations again, which is called "Muslims Are Leaving Islam" in capital letters by Sheikh Yeboudi, which is very touching, and I would urge everyone to go out and check that out as well. It's very, very nice.
What's that video called? Why don't you share that in the chat so people can check it out?
I will share that in the chat. That is a very important call for people to donate so that something happens.
Are you a moderator on my channel? Are you a mod? I don't know if you can post a link if you're not a mod.
Of course I am.
Let's see. Go ahead and try it. We want to see this link. Yeah. Wait, what is this to support?
It's to support something. It's to support prevent people from leaving Islam.
Is this going to be powerful?
Yeah.
I just want to see if this link works.
Yeah, I posted it.
Ooh, oh, there. Hey, it did work.
Yeah.
And the next, why it's kind of funny. Little kids are funny. Right after that, he posted saveiman.com.
How dare you? My campaign is better.
You see? All right, so everyone check out the Apostate Prophets video as we're closing out here. It's your last chance to click on it and see the powerful, the anti-Dawa. The anti-Dawa.
Yeah, it's Sheikh Yeboudi. He's doing great work.
And I really just have mixed feelings. Like, do we support the people who are exposing Dawa, or do we support the guys who are doing Dawa because they're having the same impact? It's like this awesome yin-yang situation where, I don't know, it's awesome.
Sheikh Yeboudi is doing Dawa personally, so in that
power
case,
the best Dawa.
I support him.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Shake Your Booty needs to be another force within the Dawa community that's waging war against all the other Da'is. Gotta, yeah. So support, ladies and gentlemen, support Shake Your Booty and support Hijab and Co. and support Sajid as they all declare war on each other. All right, we will catch y'all later.